Hello, today is all about how to talk to your child about puberty. Now, you need as a parent to talk to your child, to be the first person to talk to your child about puberty because you genuinely care about your child. That's one. Two, because you have a vision, you have values. So you want to make sure that your child puberty understanding is coming from the angle of your values and vision before your child goes out there to learn all certain manners, before your daughter goes out there to learn that, okay, when you have sex, you are going to get bigger buttocks or bigger breasts, or when you have sex, your pimples are going to go, and your son learns, oh, when you have sex, your wet dreams are going to stop. So you want to be the one to sit your child down and tell them what to expect as they approach their puberty years. Now, this is all what we are learning about today, how to talk to your child about puberty. One of the first things that a parent is that if you start early sex educating your child, because from when your child is born, you are already preparing them for the next phase of their life. Now, whether you are deliberately preparing them or not, you are preparing them. So, at the next phase, one of the next phases they are going to face is puberty. So, from small, you're already preparing them. So, one of the first things I tell parents is if you start early sex educating them, it becomes easy, it becomes seamless. You just flow into it as they grow. The discussion, the conversation grows along with them. So I always recommend to parents that you call the private organs by their names. That is one of the very first things you want to do. A couple of weeks ago, I went on a speaking engagement, and a parent asked me, "Oh, a father that he feels that naming the body organs, private and public body organ, private body organs, saying penis or vagina, will make the child curious. So he is of the opinion that you wait till a certain age before you introduce it." And I said, no, not actually naming them is one of the things that make them curious. And I'll explain. Because every part of the body is normal. It's not a big deal. The head, the hand, and all of that. So the child gets curious. Why does this particular part of the body has different names? At home, you can call it a particular name. Then you have a neighbor who also calls it a different name because they are also of the opinion that, oh, don't call it the name yet. Then you get to school, the teacher calls it the different names. It becomes, first of all, the child becomes curious. And then as the child furthers in age and curiosity, the child realizes that, okay, it's a big deal for you, it's heavy for you to call the name. And that will even make them curious. Why is this so heavy? Why is it such a big deal? Why is it so heavy? It makes them curious. And you as a parent, it's also another thing because it even makes it it makes it heavier for you to talk about. Not freely talking about it from small kind of puts a demarcation already. So for very many parents that actually struggle to talk to their children about puberty or sex educate their children is because they have created a kind of a barrier by making it such a big deal. I won't call it the name and all of that. And when we want to do it, it becomes heavy. Now, here's what I recommend to parents. Normalize it. Sexuality education in your house, sex education, whatever you want to call it, normalize it. Their private parts are just like regular organs. They are the head, you have the hand, you have the legs. That is how their private organs are. However, every part of the body has different functions. Your head has different function. So you will go and start breaking bottle on your head. It's not meant to break bottle. Your head has a different function. You're not going to eat with your head because that is not the function. Your hands have functions. Your legs have functions. So the boy's penis has functions and the girl's vagina or vulva has functions. You let them know. And you also let them know how to care for different parts of your bodies. Of course, we always talk about washing our hands to avoid germs and all of that. Moisturizing our hands to avoid to avoid them drying up. brushing your hair, combing your hair and all of that, you also want to talk to them about how they care for their private body parts. And that includes, don't play with it because it's not a toy. Don't allow anyone to play with them because it's not a toy. Don't put anything in them, and don't allow anyone to put anything or any part of their body or anything into it because it's not meant for that. As simple as that will help you lay the foundation. When you lay the foundation from small, talking about sexuality education, from there it becomes easy, seamless to it naturally flows into now talking to your children about puberty. For parents who already have started and laid the foundation, is an ongoing conversation. So every single opportunity is a teachable moment. I always talk about it. I remember one time my kids and I were defeathering chicken, picking the feathers from chicken. And so my daughter asked, "Mommy, where do the chickens lay eggs from?" You know, she was touching the that chest part that is kind of swollen, and my son was there. My son referred to the opening, and of course I told her, yes, that opening there is where chickens lay their eggs from. And that was an opportunity for me to just to tell her about almost every female creature actually gives birth through that opening, which is a woman's vagina. So now as you grow older, your body prepares towards that big mission. Now this is why your vagina is not a toy, must not be played with, toyed with, and misused. So it was an opportunity for me to actually introduce a bit of changes in the body, growing up, and all of that. So for parents who have laid the foundation, it is an ongoing conversation. It comes very easy. One of the things I want to say to you as a parent is talking about sexuality education should be normalized in your house. Normalize. Let your children be bold enough to come to you and ask you questions. Let them be bold enough to tell you things. It should be normalized. It is not a forbidden thing. It is not a big deal. I remember one time when my son was, I think, about 6 years or so, he asked me, "Mommy, why does my penis stand like a soldier?" He asked me that. Now, he was able to ask me because it's an ongoing conversation. It's a normal conversation in my house. And I had to tell him why. It was an opportunity for me to talk to him a bit about puberty as related to his age. I told him that as you grow, it's normal. It shows that you are healthy as a boy, and as you grow older, you are even going to have a lot of experiences. You are going to have times they are going to stand more like soldiers. I told him it happens sometimes when you are excited, you are doing a high energy activity. It is going to happen a lot of the time, so that he can prepare his mind. Because one of the reasons you actually need to always talk to your children about those things is, if you don't do the talking, someone else will do the talking outside. And the truth of the matter is, you cannot be sure what that person is going to talk to your child about. And one of the things I always tell parents as much as possible is, in your dealings with your child, be very honest. Always be honest. Let honesty be your how do I put it? Your foundation for all your dealings with your child, no matter how little or insignificant the issue is. Remember that children don't understand abstract concepts. So always be honest. You don't tell your child, "Okay, I'm coming," when you are not coming. That is already not telling the truth. You don't make a promise when you have no means, you have no way of keeping that promise. I hear a lot of parents who say, "Okay, go and wear your shoes and follow me." And by the time the child goes to put on the shoe, the parent has gone. Or some people even say, "Oh, our parents did it to us." Nah. These are little things. One of the commonest one is in the hospital. You tell a child, "Oh, injection is not painful." And when the child takes the injection, it's painful. Hey, no. In all your dealings, it is better you tell the child, "Oh, it is painful, but it's a bearable pain, and it's for your own good, so that you can feel better. And I'm here to support you." To make sure you are always honest in all your dealings. All your dealings, always be very, very honest, because your child needs to trust you as against the friend in school. Because when your child doesn't trust you, then they may not even trust what you are telling them. So when they go to school and their friend tells them something they may want to actually trust their friend because they do not trust you. If you have never talked to your child about puberty before, here are some ways you can actually go about it and that will make it easy for you. You can start by just looking at your child on a very good day and telling them, oh, how grown they are, how life changes. You can tell them life changes, and soon you are 9 now, you become 10, you become 11, and you get to a stage called puberty. Some people experience it early, some people experience it late. Now, that is very important. It's very important for you to let them know. If you have a daughter, for example, you want to talk to them about a menstrual cycle, it's very important to let them know that some people start, I tell my daughter that some people start as early as 9, some don't start until 16. Because as they grow older, as they go into school, their friends start discussing. If she delays, they may begin to tell her, oh, you delay because of this. Go and do this so that it will come. And we know that all these things are not true. So you want to actually let them know that some people have delays. Now, if there are myths around it, you need to start busting them gradually with idea. A little things here and there that people talk about that are not true. You need to start busting them. For example, in school, I've heard teenagers tell me that their friends tell them that if they have sex, they are going to have bigger buttocks and bigger breasts. And I always ask them, do you know any mom that is not big? They'll say, yes, oh, my mom is so slim and all of that. I said, okay, your mom has that many. This is for senior secondary school. I actually spoke with anyway. Your mom has that many children. So why is she not big? Because she had to have sex to have children. So why is she not big? So now, any myth you know about puberty, you need to bust it while empowering your child. Now, this is again why you always need to be honest, so that as you are busting it, your child actually believes you. And also tell parents, parenting accountability community, that this is one of the reasons you always need to help your children develop critical thinking skills, so that when their friends tell them something, they can sit back and think about it. They will not just swallow it hook, line, and sinker. No, they want to think it for themselves. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. It is very, very important. You are honest with your child and you let them develop their own reasoning skills. So I was saying that so you can meet him on a random day, start telling him about how he has grown, and as he's growing, things are going to happen. Just as you were a child, when you were a child, you couldn't when you were born, you were all lying down, you couldn't sit. After a while, you started sitting. Then from sitting, you started crawling, standing, and walking. Or you only took milk. From milk, started taking semi-solid. From there, solid. The same thing happens. You just don't change. It's not only about your food or about your movements that change. You also change in every other part of your body. You change physically. Your body structure changes, and your mood, your emotions can change along with them. Yes, when you're approaching puberty or you get to that stage, you can start having a lot of mood swings. You can be really you can become extra irritable. You let them know that, and your body can change. A lot of things will change in your body. Your voice becomes deeper. You start growing pubic hair. You start having body odor. A lot of things. You actually sweat more. Yes, you want to tell them all about that. That is how you want to. That is one way to introduce it. Another way to introduce it is to look for a movie on it. I've not seen a movie on it really. If you have seen a movie on it, the Birds and the Bee movie, you want to talk about it. Let the movie be a starting point. When you start with the movie, again, go and talk about everything I explained as if you were starting randomly. It's a movie. When you see the movie, at the end of the movie, you ask them what they learned, something new they learned, what they think about what they learned. You now also explain what you learned and what you think about what you learned. That's another way to introduce it. A third way will be using books. We have very many books on puberty, on sexuality education, flying about. You want to take one, look at it. I'm actually writing a book, and hopefully in the next couple of, maybe in the next 2-3 months, I'll be done with it. I'll be able to present it to you, and it's going to be very helpful, simplified. So another way is you want to use books. You have books, then you want to actually introduce them to the books, or introduce the books to them. They read the books and they come, you talk about it. Now, these are ways that actually make it very easy for you to talk about. The last how to start it I want to recommend is you can go to your album. If you are someone that keeps pictures from when your child was born to when your child is this certain age, which I always recommend, at least every of your child's birthday, take a picture and keep it just for memory and for records and all of that. So if you're a parent who does that, what you want to do is, on a very good day, when everyone is calm, the right time, look for the right place, bring out the photo album, give it to your child, start telling your child about, oh, when you were born, you were such a darling, you got to grade 1, you were an amazing child, age 2, you were very amazing, age 3, age 4, age 5, and you talk to them, you talk to him or you talk to her about growth, how he or she is definitely going to grow from one phase to another. One of the things you should know is that if your child is already up to 9, there is every likelihood that they are not new to the topic. They may not know it a great deal, but they would definitely have an idea, because I think from grade 4, 5 or thereabouts, the children are already learning about reproduction in school. Reproductive organs, reproductions, and all of that. They are already learning it in school. So there's every likelihood that their teacher has taught them a bit, their classmates have discussed it and all of that. One of the things you want to know. So you actually want to know what they already know, how far they have gone. You can check their textbook. It will be very helpful. Check their notebook. It will be very helpful to help you understand where the extent they already know about it. And I already talked about busting the myth is very important. Now, it's not as if you just tell them, no, your friends are going to tell you this. It is not true. You are going to start by saying something like, when we were growing up, we used to hear a lot of things about these things. You know, when you approach puberty, your conversations are definitely going to change, because you are growing now. Like, you as a parent, your conversation is no longer toys like the children. It's no longer cartoon like the children. Your conversations are about caring for your family, pursuing purpose and great things like that. So you also let your child know that as you grow older, your conversations are going to change, and your friends, your conversations are going to be almost the same. So your friends are going to talk a lot about puberty, because that is the phase you are. Because the phase you are determines your conversation. So your friends are going to talk about puberty a great deal, and they are going to want to sell all sorts of stories to you, which happened during our time too. We have stories like this, stories like this, stories like this. So one of the things you want to do is always thinking through. You can share some of the stories you heard, okay, when you were growing up. We had stories like this, for example. And you know, when you sit back to think about it, does it make sense? In Impact, there was a book we read the last time. It talks about Plan B. It's about helping your child to develop their upstairs brain, that is their thinking brain. So you actually want to help your child develop their thinking brain. So you want to ask them, does it make sense? Think about it. When we were growing up, they told us like this, and we believe, oh, but now that we think about it, it was very dumb. So when you hear things like this, you actually want to sit back and think about it. So that is one of the things you want to do. Now, another thing you want to do is, these days, children are very curious. They ask questions. They ask questions that we couldn't ask when we were growing up. So you are going to tell your child something like, you may tell your child something like, okay, as you grow older, you are going to have wet dreams, and they want to know why, where is it coming from? So they will not just want to stop at it's part of development, it's part of puberty. No, you want to tell them how it's what leads to it. Let's talk about menstrual cycle for women, for girls, for example. The same thing. As you grow older, maybe you get to 13, 14, 15, 16, you are going to start having a monthly flow of blood, and they're going to ask you, okay, why is it coming from, where is it coming from, why do I have it, how does my body form it? So you need to just learn a little information, maybe in another class or in pack. We're going to talk about this a bit so that everyone will just have basic knowledge. So in case they ask that, or even if they don't ask that, you actually want to let them know that you are well informed. Remember, you always need to provide superior information. You are well informed so that when they go out there, they meet their friends, they know that my mom is well informed, my dad is well informed. They are likely going to take your words compared to their friends, because you have proven to them that you are well informed. So just don't stop as you grow older. Your voice is going to deepen. You want to explain a bit, and if possible, you actually want to look for videos to explain. Go online, get age appropriate videos that explain these things. Explain to them in such a manner that it's easy for them to understand, so that when their friends are talking, they are not blank, they are not dumb. They actually understand what is going on. So you cannot come and tell them anything and they would believe. So like I said, if possible, go online, go to YouTube, go to Google and get videos, short videos, pictures of the stages of development and what happens that leads from one stage to another. I'll wrap up by doing a kind of recap of the entire class. So some things you need to bear in mind when you are talking to your child about puberty. One, I said you should normalize it. Normalize it. Don't make it a big deal. Don't make it heavy for you to talk about. Don't make it heavy for your child to ask you questions. Normalize it. Again, normalize it. It is a phase somebody passes through. So it is not a big deal. You need to tell yourself it's a phase my child is passing through, and I need to support my child through this phase. Because if you don't support your child is going to get information outside that may mislead your child. The truth of the matter is, a lot of things happen to people. Some people get away with it. Some people don't get away with it. Some people experiment with sex for the first time and they get into big trouble, contract one disease or the other, and all of that. God forbid it's not your child, so you have to play your part. So normalize it. Make it easy for you to talk about. Make it easy for your child to ask you questions. And I've shared a few things with you on how you can make it easy. You can go back there, watch replay and watch that part, and choose any of the methods you actually want to start the conversation with. You can also feel free to ask your questions in the comment section. I'll always be there to answer you. That is number one. Normalize it. Number two is bust every myth around it. At least you will not know all of them, but now this is what you need for your child to be able to think for themselves. So whenever you are talking about it, give them scenarios, what you heard when you were growing up, what happened around you, and help them ask them to think about it. Does it make sense? See what happened and all of that. You need to help them think for themselves. You need to help them to be able to think for themselves, because their friends are going to say all sorts of manners. Again, you don't want them to listen and run what their friends are saying, especially if those things are not true. So you want to make sure they are able to think for themselves. Like I said, one of the ways you can do this is by sharing your own childhood stories and everything around it you heard then, and have them think it through. That's number two. Number three, come with knowledge. Present superior knowledge, because their friends are not going to know a lot of things. You are going to know a lot of things. So you are going to know, okay, why is this? Why does it happen? So this is what you need to read. Empower yourself. Google is there. YouTube is there. Books are there. Just read a little about them, so that when they ask questions, you can answer. Now, even if you don't read about them, and when they ask questions, what you can do is to tell them, okay, you can research together. I don't know, because it's okay not to know it. You can research together. You can sit there right there with them, and you make sure, okay, well, the site you are going to is a safe site that actually will teach what you want them to learn. So you just Google it and the answer pops up and both of you read it together. Or you go to YouTube and both of you sit and watch an explainer video together to come with knowledge. You can use pictures, videos to actually have them understand, so that their friends are not telling them something, they are believing them. When you are talking about puberty with your child, you cannot take hygiene away from it. So you want to talk to them about hygiene, how to care for themselves, how to bathe, and how to take care of their undergarments and their private organs. You actually want to emphasize on hygiene when you are running them through the puberty conversation. And you want to be honest. I can't overemphasize this. You want to be honest. Honesty is very important. Now remember, if you are notorious for dishonesty, it's easy for someone else to convince your child. And again, like I always say, you don't know the motive behind that person. You don't even know what they are saying. Your child will just run with it and make their choice. We make our choices based on the information, based on the knowledge we have. And your child will make his or her choice based on the knowledge that he or she will have. And you don't know that for sure. So you want to make sure you are very, very honest. Be honest with your child. It's not just about puberty. It starts from every single thing you are doing. Every time you are talking to your child, honesty should be your watchword, should be your foundation. Be honest, no matter how insignificant. Now, when we're talking about being honest to your child, it's not just about your child. You are going to be honest to everything around you, everyone around you. Model honesty. Let your child see you as a trustworthy person, someone that says the truth all the time. You keep your promises, you don't exaggerate, you play fair. Let your child see you being honest all the time. It's easy for them to actually believe you and run with whatever you are saying when you are honest. Another thing you want to do when you're talking about puberty is talk about their emotional changes. Talk about mood, talk about feelings like crush, talk about hormones, talk about attempts, masturbation and what it means and all of that. From 9 years, yes, you want to talk about all of that with your child. And lastly, you are going to talk to them about peer pressure. Peer pressure. Peer pressure is important. You also talk to them about peer pressure, because peers are going to come with all sorts and manners. So you actually want to let them teach them how to create the boundaries and how to draw the lines. I actually hope that this helps someone today. If it helps you, do well to drop a thank you in the comment section. If it doesn't help you, do also well to drop your observation in the comment section. I'll always be glad. Now remember, I'm going to create a worksheet on how to actually talk to your child about puberty and everything. And the worksheet is exclusive to PAC members only. Unfortunately, now for every class we have here, we have worksheets that actually the plan of the worksheet. The plan for the worksheet is for us to further the conversation and also to take action. Unfortunately, the worksheets are always only for PAC members. That is our subscription community. And I want to encourage you to join our PAC community, our parenting and accountability community, the community where you actually want to be. We have beautiful testimonies in the community. I'll be glad to have you there. Thank you so much for watching. And now this actually was by parents. This video was inspired by parents who asked the question, and I do hope she gets to watch this, and I do hope she gets to leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Enimie Orebo, and this is Parenting with Enimie Orebo. Thank you again for watching. Bye for now.